Okay, there's a Facebook group. I want you to not sell it to me. Make me not want to join it.
Do you like being elbow to elbow with people? What if I said there's 46,000 people in one room?
Would hate it.
Huh?
I would hate it.
So if you don't want to be successful, you don't want to make more money, you don't want to do anything in life, do not, and I repeat, do not join the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. In there, it's like lives to grow your business, total snore fest. There's helpful tips and tricks. You're going to be helping your competition grow.
Can we client bash?
Oh, you can't even client bash in there.
God, no.
Oh, gross. And they have a sister group called Baking with Sugar Cookie Marketing. Like,
Can I ask
let me
marketing
post.
questions
No. Why can't I post my baking questions in a marketing group? It's just easier. I don't want to start.
The sound thing is through the roof.
So whatever they're listening.
It is the Baking It Down podcast with Sugar Cookie Marketing, which is a group of too many people on Facebook with too many questions, getting too many helpful answers. If you want to join, you can look it up on Sugar Cookie Marketing / group on Facebook. But this is an excerpt of things we've seen talked about there that we're able to take to a podcast with these
I want to say,
voices.
you might be wondering why I have a podcast.
Do you like to sell by asking questions?
Yes, you might be asking yourself that. So why have a podcast when you have a group? Aren't you talking about the same things in the group that you're talking about the podcast?
Well, when you're elbow deep in there.
Well, when you're elbow deep in flour. Sometimes you want to listen.
This is Corey's bright idea. She said that while she was elbow deep in flour.
Listen, it was a good idea.
Place to listen
Listening
to.
was a good idea.
Yes. And now many thousands of you somehow oddly carve out time in your week to
Now I
listen
want to say this on microphone is my ball and chain for Tuesdays. I hate it.
So today we wanted to talk about loss leaders, and if you haven't heard of them, you've experienced them, and that's how pervasive this marketing pricing strategy is in most grocery stores. Specifically, the king of loss leading is Costco.
The Costco.
Costco is, so let's talk about what a loss leader is.
Okay.
It's a product priced below your costs. So you are literally losing money on it. By selling it, you're actually paying people to take it from you. But there's the strategy behind it, and that's where the magic happens. So if every product you sell is a loss leader, do not listen to this podcast at all.
You're going to be at a loss. The thing with loss leaders is it's just one item. It's not every item. And you might be like, twins, but you said charge your worth. You don't work for free. Here's the thing. It's not everything you're doing. What you're doing is enticing someone into your marketing funnel or into your booth at a farmer's market, at your pop-up to get them a little taste test of something.
So before you go through all the examples that we're supposed to go through later in this podcast.
Sure. I'm just giving a little tasty test.
I wanted to read a little bit. They said, okay, I'm going to ask you this. I'm reading this article specifically on Costco.
On the Costco.
Remember it used to be Price Club?
I had no idea that changed to that.
You didn't know that?
I just thought Price Club was a different company.
No, Price Club rebranded to Costco.
Oh. Yeah. Price Club, Costco.
They said average American will scarf down this many pounds of poultry per year.
Oh, I'm one of those.
Okay.
So a person per year, pounds?
American, yes, pounds. Poultry.
I'm going to say 25 pounds.
Oof, 99.
99?
99. And they said that is roughly 20 whole chickens per person per year. I guess if you factor in Chick-fil-A, I'm killing off flocks.
That's just little tiny nuggets.
There we go.
That's a toe. That's a chicken toe.
Yeah, I know. And they give me a turtleback fry. This is ridiculous. So they said of the 900 million pounds of rotisserie chickens.
Did you say turtleback fry?
Have you ever heard that? Turtleback fries?
Yeah, the one where it's got like a whole...
turtleback.
Are those bad? Are we saying they don't like them?
Some people love them. I hate them. Turtleback tastes different than the grid. You can take this turtleback and take it back. Of the 900 million rotisserie chickens sold, 106 are sold by Costco.
Wow.
Making it one of the largest retailers in the world of rotisserie chickens.
I will say, I can mess up a rotisserie chicken. You put a little garlic herb on there.
They're great.
They're amazing.
They're great. So why are they only $4.99? It's because they said if adjusted for inflation when this article is written, it should be $8.31.
I believe it.
So-
A cooked chicken?
Yeah. So why is Costco not raising? The article does say, how the cluck are these chickens profitable? Is it in a 2015 earnings call? Costco CFO Richard Galanti said that the retailer is taking a multi-million-dollar hit by not raising the price of these chickens. "Quote unquote, we're willing to eat, if you will, 30 to 40 million a year in gross margin by keeping it at $4.99 is what we earn." So the concept is this: nobody fights a Costco parking lot for a single chicken. Nobody's going to stand in a Costco checkout line for one chicken. So they have that chicken set as a loss leader, and it accomplishes quite a few different things. One, they put it towards the back of the store where you pass all the other things you probably want.
Yeah.
And then he said it also brands them as value signaling. We get a lot for a little, and that's Costco's branding. It's like, you come here and you get good deals. Let me show it to you. And then we have the razzle dazzle of a chicken. It smells delicious. Have you ever been up to one of those things?
Oh, it's inviting.
Chicken could be 5 years old and it still smells good.
The thing is, you have to remember, Costco is they're not losing money. You're like, but you just said they're losing money on a chicken.
But they're getting money on everything
Absolutely.
else.
So when you're at Costco and you're like, oh, let's grab a rotisserie chicken. Oh, yeah, I'm also almost out of toothpaste. So let's stop by that aisle and I can just grab that with me.
Because I would refuse. Costco, I mean, you got to be in a mental headspace to go there. I mean, if you guys live in a highly populated area like we do, we have a bunch of Costco's, and every single one of them is the line to get Costco gas is always 10 cars deep.
I actually do not have a membership to any of those.
I know.
And the only reason is because I don't have storage for the amount of products you get.
For the bulk buy. Yeah. You really truly have to have a house outfitted for a Costco haul. They said that Costco actually has 3 different loss leaders built into each of their store. It's the hot dog and soda combo.
Yes.
Didn't they raise the price? Or they limited who can go to the Costco
You used to be
court?
able to go to the food court regardless if you had a membership.
Now I think
and now you have to have, at least in this area, they changed it to you have to have a membership.
But I don't think they changed the prices. So the hot dog and soda combo, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will, $1.50 since 1985.
That's insane.
The 12-slice pizza, it's been $9.95 since 1989.
It's delicious.
When I were a year old at this time.
Wow.
And the rotisserie chicken has been $4.99 since 2009. It was actually $4.99 pre-dating that, but they raised it by $1 in a 2008 housing financial crisis, and then brought it back down.
They kicked you while you were down.
They
Lost
said,
your house
yeah,
and your chicken.
It was rough for everybody. The chicken coop and your house are not doing well. So, but then Costco could choose the memberships, and so that's the point of a loss leader. And bringing it back to baking is giving something that you are operating at a loss to sell, in exchange for knowing that you'll make it back on other products.
I was at the farmer's market not so long ago, and I approached a sourdough baker, and she was cutting up pieces of her sourdough as a taste test. So she was losing money because her giving you a little tasty test of one didn't guarantee that you're going to buy it.
Okay, so she's operating a loss on whatever the taste test product was. But in exchange, is you will likely get a product that has her margins built in.
I had then bought a $7 cinnamon roll, which I know.
She was like, "I'll get her. Come on and go." So that is the interesting thing. And now I see Corey using it and we can, I think we're going to kind of pull on the definition of this.
Yeah.
Like, we're not selling rotisserie chickens, and a lot of us don't have brick and mortars, right? So it's going to be a different kind of approach to a tactic. So the goal is to make a profit on the other items sold, which can negate the loss on the loss leader. So the loss leader, again, leading by getting people in there. They smell good. They look good. They're placed in places. And that's more of a strategy if you do a farmer's market, to have the samples maybe inside. Like, come in the booth for a free sample and then put it towards the best-selling product you have. But we got to draw it back into us cottage home bakers.
Yeah. So a big one that I know a lot of us do is the car cookie. That is a loss leader, technically.
So if you haven't heard what the car cookie is, it's akin to the thank you cookie. It's an extra cookie you affix to the outside of an order. Corey puts hers in a cello bag, ties it to the front, and it says thank you. And a lot of people put an extra tag, and I know Corey's been asking me to make these for her. An extra tag that says, this is a car cookie. It is something for you to eat while you drive. Because a lot of these are bought as gifts. That's why we're able to charge so much, because people are trying to impress their friends. But they never get to taste what they taste like because you give it as this gift, right?
Who wants to eat a $6?
Can I get one of them? Since I just gave you, can you give me one?
The problem is the person who orders them is bringing them to an event and they don't want to eat the $6 cookie themselves because they spent so much money on them. So they end up being gifted, given. I do a lot of them that are like party favors. So they end up not being eaten by the person who actually bought them.
So, Corey, so if we say the average price per cookie, it's a very custom set. Do you do a printed cookie? Do you make it match the set, or is it just this car cookie design that you do? I know I printed you a cutter that was a car cookie, and I've never seen it.
I know, it was such tiny tires. It just depends. Sometimes typically, if I'm rushing, I'll actually just make it with the set colors and put the word thank you on it and icing.
So anyways, if we're charging $5 per cookie, I don't know what your personal cost of the production of the cookie. So the loss leader is the loss of that product. Now I got to do research. Is it loss of the product as it's listed on the shelf, or is it cutting out your costs? You're operating below your own costs.
Well, I think it says as a loss leader is you're operating below your costs.
Well, you're giving
it's
it
free.
away. So either way, we're operating below. So I'm not sure how you would account for that. Would you say this cost me $2 to produce, but $5 to sell? Where's the hit taken? So I don't know. I got to do research into that. Either way, you're not making money on this thing. But what you've done is, because Corey said a lot of these cookie sets are gifted, you've now allowed the person who ordered the cookies to taste them, see if they like them, and likely, one, because essentially that's a good, not a good omen, like we're, good faith. Like I'm giving you something in the hopes that you'll come back and buy a product where the margin is built in to cover the cost. Now, car cookies so cheap. And some of you guys are printing on Eddie, which means it's even less work. Corey's using leftover icing, so she's not even having to prep icing. And then some of you guys have pre-prepped car cookies that you freeze and then thaw for these orders, which is a great idea, a great way to get the person, one, they feel like you did something for them. Two, they get a taste test, and three, they're likely to come back and order from you.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're thinking I'm charging $78 a dozen, the cost of one cookie, $6.25, or a little bit more than that, $7.
Oh my goodness. I could have gotten a rotisserie chicken and a half.
Oh, I know. You could fed a whole person for dinner. That, to me, is worth it at the end of the day because my profit margin is there. So even though I'm taking a hit on the cookie, I'm still making profit.
The interesting part about the car cookie is likely it's already covered in the cost of the set you sold. So you're even covering your bases there.
Yeah. To me, the most time-consuming thing is making the icing. So that's why if I'm just already got the colors already done, it's the last little thing.
Lori had me create Eddie PNG graphic where she could print her logo on a circle cut cookie. That was really, that effort there is really low. Of course, like you can lick it off the floor. That's how little effort's in there. But that would be a great way to have like this taste test cookie. Yeah. And still get there. Now, again, you're not sticking your chicken neck as far out because you've already made money from this person. So it's a nice little compromise.
Yeah. If you're doing, can I segue to the next one?
Right over there, buddy.
If you're doing a pop-up. So pop-ups are super popular. Pop-ups are super popular. You have people come and you can either do a pop-up in your own front yard. A lot of people partner with like
cafes,
coffee shops and things like that, do pop-ups there. Especially around like big holiday season, especially Christmas. People have holiday markets all the time and you'll see local businesses looking for people to vend at their shop just to keep people in there. They can shop from you. They can shop from the person hosting. It's a great idea. If you're doing a pop-up and you want to entice someone to come, letting them have a taste test, like macarons are great because you can make them in batches versus sugar cookies they're kind of time intensive. Macarons are more of a...
been to the mall, which Corey and I were probably born in a hallway of Tyson's, and you go past the place that makes the chicken. I forget what they call it. It wasn't Panda Express, but it used to be in the mall.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And it was this lady would stand in front, she's like, one in piece, and it was always on a toothpick. Definitely COVID destroyed this business model. But in its heyday, they let you, she'd just stand out there, and to everybody, she'd be like, would you like a piece of chicken? It was always on a toothpick. And you'd be like, wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So it was the loss leader because they had cut up this whole chicken. They had seasoned it. It was delicious. And the lady it didn't matter if you had food on your face from your meal. She'd still give you a piece.
Honestly, if you were coming out of another business that you had just eaten at, she would still offer it.
And that is a loss leader. One, it smelled delicious. Two, they weren't making any money on it. But boy, did it make it. It sold me so many times on going into that restaurant. I can't remember what the name is. It's closed since. Great business model.
Yeah.
But,
too much loss leading.
Too much loss. But that really kind of gets you in there. So when we apply it to kind of like these pop-ups, like what would you suggest people try as a loss leader if they wanted to implement this strategy.
I think something that you can make it batch worthy. So mini chocolate chip cookies,
that's a good one.
delicious, and they're small. If you wanted to do mini, like I made a cookie cake yesterday and had little hearts around it.
Yeah.
Those were mini sugar cookies, one color. So easy to get someone to be able to taste test and go.
Let's not take a huge hit on it. Like, don't do the most ornate cookie ever. Because we want them to eat it while they stand there, essentially. Like, it's took me 5 years.
Yeah, and if you just have them out there, like grab one, take one, and then they can taste test it, then they can buy something else. If you're doing like the car cookie kind of thing and you want to sell them on something that's a higher profit margin, so like macarons, you can make them in batches.
So like the car cookie is the macaron.
Yes.
So they buy the custom sugar cookie. Let's say they've already bought from you in the past, and you say, hey, I've fixed a macaron for you, so that you can kind of get them over to maybe even a higher margin.
So if I'm launching something new on a menu, I will give that away as my car cookie. So like cake pops. So when I was getting into cake pops to get my name out there, hey, you ordered this custom dozen. Do you know I'm doing cake pops? Here, test this one and let me see.
Which brings us to our next one, taste testing in community groups. I see you do this one a lot. So it's a nice way. And again, you've got to read the rules of this community. Don't be hell on earth for the admins of these groups. They will ban you. As you know, Facebook actually tells us to ban people who don't follow the rules. So they're going to do that. So let's imagine it's the sales day. Let's pretend it's a sales Saturday and you're allowed to sell in that group. Instead of saying, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, try this, a loss leader approach. Hey, all, I'm a sugar cookie baker, but I'm trying to introduce drop cookies and I just need a few taste testers. The only catch is you just got to tell me if you liked it or not. Right. It's not that great. If you got feedback, that'd be one thing. But the real goal here is, one, we've introduced our entire market, this new product, and we've gotten people to literally consume the product. Now we're operating at loss because there's no money to be made here.
But I will say, posts that give something away versus say, buy my stuff, get so much more interaction than a sales post. And we will say, how you get them is how you keep them. So not necessarily is a great thing. That's why I like to sometimes trade for a review.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Right. Corey will also say, hey, can I give you this product in exchange for your honest thoughts? You can't ask for only a 5-star. Can you email me if it's bad? Can you give a 5-star?
I do. If it's good.
If you ate it over here, you loved it over there.
I had a random review from one I did on St. Patrick's Day.
So we always tell people, like, it gets pretty frustrating to give product in exchange for honest reviews because a lot of times people who get something for free don't feel tied to have to do anything. But Corey, so that's why we say for every almost 20 people you ask to expect
a lot of stuff away.
Expect maybe one review, but over time that will build up. For every bad thing you do, expect a 1-for-1 review. Yeah. So for every good thing, 20 ask, 1 review. For every bad thing, 1-to-1. So we need to constantly build that up. And Corey does that through these taste testing. Give me feedback if you liked it. If not, can you let me know what you didn't like? Through these community groups. But it's a great way to introduce a new product, to get your name out there, to abide by the rules, but also to give to get.
To give to get. I have recently gotten into sourdough. And
the podcast.
I know, but you should see this local community group. I am the sourdough saint. I posted like 6. I made too much last week. My husband didn't want to take any to work. Heather was going out of town. So I made some, posted 6 batches of different things. It was bagels, cookies, loaves.
Did you ask him for reviews or are you just trying to grow your name?
Just grow my name. Associate with sourdough. It was gone in less than an hour. People were like showing up in my house and being like, guys, it's gone.
Yeah. It's so crazy. But then keep in mind, like, how you get them is how you keep them. So you can't build your entire marketing strategy off of the free because you're going to have really cheap people because you can't blame them.
Keep talking. I have a customer that's picking up when I'm not there. So.
Okay. I'll talk to myself. So anyways, we have taste testing in community groups, which is, again, follow the community group rules. That taste testing thing is a form of a sales post, and I don't think admins are so stupid that they can't catch that. Yeah. So maybe it will be your Saturday sales post, which I think is actually a great strategy. Then we said car cookie. Now, this isn't really nice if you're trying to ease your way into the loss leading concept of marketing. This is a good one because the car cookie already factors in that you've already made money. Granted, now this extra cookie, odds are it's covered by the cost of, but it is free. So it is one of these loss leaders. Then one we haven't covered is giveaways. Now, again, if you are new to giveaways, please know that there's a lot of baggage with the word giveaway and spam bots on Facebook. There's another podcast. It's called Giveaways. Yeah. It has dashes between each word for each letter for a reason. But giveaways are a nice way. Loss leader, giveaways are no money. You are not making money, but you are getting people to taste your product in the hopes that not only is it a marketing strategy to grow your page, and that's not the focus of this podcast. This one is giving something away so that they are hooked to get something again in the future. And again, with that caveat, is how you get them, is how you keep them. At least Costco is operating just below cost, but it's still charging.
I know.
The giveaway is kind of that freebie thing. So
the problem with if you do exclusively just giveaways all the time, is there something in my necklace right here? A dot? Something is amiss on it. Okay. I can feel it. The problem with giveaways is I see a lot of companies do so many giveaways that you're bringing in the wrong clientele there. Yeah. They technically want stuff for free. So if you're always saying this is for free, you might not get a lot of conversions into something paid. So that's why I like to accompany a giveaway with something that's already been purchased.
Explain.
So you bought a dozen custom cookies for me. Here's some macarons. You've already showed me that you're willing to buy stuff versus just get stuff for free.
Yeah. So I would say the freebie stuff, if I could loss leader that one, would probably be where I kind of stay. I would only use it intermittently, and I would use it more to grow my page than to get people to buy more product.
Giveaways are good when they're focused, when the strategy is behind, like you're doing pre-sales. Yeah. So, hey, I'm doing what is the little guy that comes out and says, I'm back at Christmas? Elf on the Shelf.
Are we allowed to say his name?
Elf on the Shelf. If you're doing that and you want to run a giveaway around that to get more eyes on that you're actually doing it, I think that's a strategy versus like your page feels random and you're like, giveaway today.
Here's what I always thought would be a better approach for a giveaway is the cart forgiveness. Have you ever heard of that?
Remember I said that on the Signature Pro and you said that was dumb. Signature Pro? When I said I paid for my signature.
No, you buying a signature was dumb. The concept of that. So the cart forgiveness is that, hey, whoever one person who buys from me in this time period, I'm going to forgive their entire cost. Yeah. So that way you're not getting them for free. It's still a giveaway, but you're getting people who are like, hey, I was going to buy anyways, and now I have a chance to buy now and get something for free.
I think if your calendar's pretty open, that's a fair way to get it booked.
You're getting people that are willing to pay and just make it lucky.
The bad thing is if you book this month, oh guys, I'm booked for the month. None of you get it.
One other thing that I think is a loss leader is like BOGO class tickets. So buy one, get one free. Yes. Now the original ticket needs to cover your cost. What are you doing?
I'm setting up this pickup.
What is this at?
It is a end of school year. I've already made it.
Why is she coming on a day you're not there?
She drives an hour for me. She said she's loyal.
She's loyal.
So I'm letting her pick up.
Virginia is a battle. So the BOGO class tickets, now the interesting thing about that one is classes are more fun whether you bring a friend. It's easier to bring a friend. We often find that most people come in groups of 2 or 3, which is always surprising. Once we had somebody come in a group of 5, we're like, oh, this is basically your private class. So BOGO class tickets, you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to charge and BOGO doesn't have to mean buy one, get one free. It could be buy one, get one half off. Yeah. If the original price of the ticket factors in the discount of the second ticket, then it's actually a great strategy where you make money, but people still feel that they got one over on you. Yeah. And that's what that kind of loss leader is. Like, it is wild to get an entire chicken for $5 when my order at Chick-fil-A is like $20. Yeah. So I could, but then I'd have to cut it myself. And where's the Chick-fil-A sauce? So that BOGO class ticket can be a great strategy. One, to get your name out there because they all have to bring somebody else. And then let's say you only offer the BOGO offer to people who've already come to a class. Well, they already like your classes. Now they're going to bring somebody new to your classes, and then that can kind of really help. I think we do it when we can't fill up the last 2 seats.
Or if someone cancels last minute, we'll do it.
Yeah. And then you had pop-ups. Now let's apply this to our own business. We have the Cookie College. The Cookie College is where we popcorn price everyone that up to there. If you bought all the components of the Cookie College separate, it's $187. Together, it's $76. Okay. So how do we get people up there? Well, the $2 transfer club operates at such a loss. It is the designed loss leader. Yeah. If you buy a transfer on Etsy, it's around $3 to $5 for one sheet. That you print on your own computer. And that's it. So the $2 transfer club is for around, I think we're over 180 sheets. If you count that the alphabets have 5 different booklets per letter. That's all of those sheets for just $2. Now that appends the transfer market. But what happens is I got you into my door. I got you onto my website. You made an account. For you to change from a $2 transfer club to the Cookie College is one button. Yeah. You don't have to make a new account. You don't have to put your credit card details in there again. All you have to do is click one button and you could get all the Cookie College and the transfer club included has to offer for just, quite a few dollars more, but the loss leader got you into the funnel. Granted, you're at a very far away price point.
But the work behind getting you to sign up, make an account, that is, one, you're giving your email. You can get email sent to you. There's so much.
People on the $2 transfer club, like, I never hear from you.
I'm so sorry.
But like, imagine that we were actually good at marketing and we sent a $2 transfer club email every week. Now, here's the thing. Now, another thing is everyone who's ever signed up for the $2 transfer club, the promise is you get one transfer a month, but you have all averaged around 5 to 8 transfers each month. So now you're like, wow, the twins deliver on what they say. I wonder how much I get in these other packages, which, the Cookie Class Kits is included in the Cookie College. The digital downloads is included in the Cookie College, which we did thermal printed labels this month. Size for 2 different labels. The Baker's Business Basics, the $2 transfer club, and then the Cookie College itself is all included in that. And you just started at $2. And now I've spent months building trust with you because not only have you gotten what I promised, you've gotten more for less. Yeah. Makes your $2 go that much farther. And now am I saying, hey, what do you guys think about switching to this plan? Now, in all of our memberships, you get the $2 transfer club too. So that's how we're using a loss leader. Granted, yes, it takes time, it takes effort, but it's a way to get you guys in and get you guys up and over.
In and up, successful, making cash.
And nothing makes me sadder when somebody switches from the Cookie College to the $2 transfer. But at least we're still in a relationship.
So in your business, you got to think of what could be a good loss leader for you.
I'm going to say car cookie given. Like, everyone should be trying that car cookie thing out. It's such a low cost, low effort thing, whether you make it super simple and you're just doing an Eddie print, or if you're using leftover icing. Yeah. Or let's say you batch make them and freeze them and thaw them. I think that one's a great way to get the taste of the cookie, unless your cookie tastes bad, into the mouth of somebody who's already got their wallet open for you. Very Costco. Costco, alas.
And I don't like to just hand a box of cookies with a cookie on the front without explaining it. So you do have to, us, introverted people, you have to be able to put on your extroverted business hat.
Well, that's so interesting. In the Cookie College, when I was making those thermal labels, they said, what thermal template should I create? And someone's like, can you explain what the car cookie is? I want to talk. So we did. So one of them says, this is a car cookie for you to enjoy on your own, something like that.
Yeah. So that's what I end up, because one, you don't want, if you do something for free, it turns into expected if you don't explain it. So I like to be like, hey, and this one's for you. Eat it in the car. I'll never tell us all. It'll be our little secret. Just to show, like, hey, this did take some effort.
You got to teach your own horn. Yeah. Yeah, I did this for you because you're such a great client by giving me your hard-earned money from your lifeblood. So that's how you can kind of incorporate these loss leaders. Now, we're not covering everything that you could use as a loss leader. You could be selling cupcakes and then stick a macaron on top of the cupcake.
Our DIY kits that we do for classes comes with the PowerPoint. That is a loss leader. We've already done the PowerPoint part for the class. Yes. So if you buy a DIY kit from the class, we'll send you the PowerPoint so you can almost recreate the class at home. Right.
So we're operating a loss because we'd rather them be in class, but if we can continue, the effort's already made on that one. So we already made the PowerPoint. Us squeezing more value out of that by including it in those DIY kits. The effort's there, right?
Absolutely.
And if we could use that as the loss leader to get them to take a class, that would be pretty nice.
In the college, Julia OMG, I'm sure that's not her real name. OMG. She actually pulls from the PowerPoints that we make and creates what we've now named the Cookie Class playlists. Yes. In the college, what we'll do is I will print that out and put it in a DIY kit. If they're not associated with the class and just selling DIY kits. Yeah. So you get this Cookie Class playlist. Granted, the effort was already there.
Thing, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. So then they can follow along. It's a little something to put it next to you and follow along and do all the steps.
So you consolidate the steps from the PowerPoint in a single PDF, which is pretty easy to print. It looks really cute. And then it has the cookies, all 6 cookies and the steps in order. Mm-hmm. So that's all the stuff you can kind of incorporate for these loss leaders. And, the free samples. And I see people get in the argument, I don't do free samples because, it costs me money. Yeah, they're correct. It does cost you money. You should get paid unless your intention is this loss leader. And that's why you can't just blob about and be like, well, that's just the loss later because I didn't charge enough. No, you have to be like intentional. Like Costco is like, this is our chicken. We're going to put it in the back of the store. They have to walk by everything people typically buy when they come to Costco. They can get this chicken for $4.99. We're never going to raise the price. And then we sell this much more product, which he was saying he was selling, 30 million, 40 million more just for the sake that the chicken exists.
What's so fun is I was looking at these pair of earrings online.
You are
I'm a jewelry fiend. Look, I'm on an ear journey. I haven't started yet, but I'm on it.
We've been talking about it a lot.
But I was in the checkout and I went to see what the discount was, like what the total would be with taxes and stuff. And it was like, here's your free gift. Add your free gift to cart. So it didn't add it automatically. I actually had to take an action to add it there. And I was like, oh, that is their loss leader. Technically, I am paying a lot for whatever these earrings were.
As soon as there's something to add it on.
I know.
It feels so good.
And then I was like, oh, wow, I got a free thing, a little satchel.
It's so funny you brought that up. You want to go to Amazon and it's like, click here to get the 5% off, but you have to physically click it. But that's designed because you felt like you did something to get this 5% off. You're not guaranteed it. And it drives people to check out faster.
Almost if you could, and I don't know, like, if you could do it on a website like Shopify or something that's more e-commerce related, like you get a free either car cookie or cake pop. Choose which one you want with your order.
Smart.
Yeah, like you could let them actually choose
then I'm gonna
it.
Like, if I click away from this, do I lose
then,
this
yeah,
offer?
will I not get it?
Yeah. That would be nifty. You hire the developer to do that, okay? So that is something to keep in mind. Look at your product offerings. Look at something that is, I mean, it would be ideal if you look at something that was very low margin anyways for you, something that was very low production cost, and created that as your loss leader to get them over. Now, you don't want to be like, this product tastes terrible and I need to get rid of it. That's not the goal. The rotisserie chicken, again, is very well seasoned. You get flavor options. But to use that to kind of draw people into new products, to draw people like Corey's doing it for cake pops, and now you're getting into Rice Krispie treats. I'll be curious how you're going to use the Rice Krispie treats.
I was looking at how to cutely package them, like wrapping them up. You know, you need wax paper though. So I didn't have any.
Is wax paper cloudy?
Wax paper, it is cloudy. Yeah. So you would have a cute little sticker on it. You couldn't do parchment. So you could almost like put it like at the
package is going to have to float. Krispy Kreme, love those. Rice Krispies, kind of ugly. I'm going to be honest. You can do a drizzle, I know. But in reality, compared to a decorated sugar cookie, those things are just
blase. You're going in for the taste, not the one.
So the packaging has to carry the team. Same with the drop cookie people, because they're like, I have to crack these open. I got to get a rainbow in the background because it's not as cute as a sugar cookie, but it leads on taste. Yes. So they have a kind of a different marketing approach completely than sugar cookies, who are like, look how pretty the front is. These people are like, look how juicy the inside are.
So last week I made so many batches of Rice Krispie treats, testing out. So I had Heather. Heather was my freebie person that she was.
You a 5-star.
But then now I said, if I wanted to, I could cut up a square, wrap it in wax paper, put the thank you, and that would be my
a car cookie. Yeah, a car Krispie treat. Yeah, that'd be cute. Yeah, that would be cute. Could you use a cookie cutter to stamp it in the shape of a car?
You wanted me to make it into my logo, and I think I could do that, and that would be very cute.
That'd be very cute. Yeah. It'd be a part of branding, but it would also be the loss leader.
I know. And Rice Krispies are so much. The cost of them, the highest,
be next to nothing.
The butter would be the biggest one.
Yeah, this thing is like
Rice Krispies are like less than a cent.
Cereal got expensive. What if you could bulk buy Krispies?
I don't have a Costco membership. Couldn't tell you.
That might be it.
I got the family size box.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the bulk buying. So that is our podcast topic today. I think it's a great strategy, loss leader, to get people in, and then you can take the strategy and apply it to get more reviews, or to get people to buy a new product, or to get people to come back.
Yeah.
And that's Costco. If you ever read up on this pretty interesting article, they use that whole entire food court to get people to come back and buy at Costco.
When people make samples for their pre-sales and like let them go to the cookie graveyard, I'd never do that. That's such an opportunity to give that away.
Yeah.
To get people's eyes on it. You don't know if they're going to go run and post it into a community group. So to let those cookies get old, where you just end up tossing them after the pre-sale is done. I'm like, that's you put so much energy into it. Get some marketing out of it.
You heard it here first, kids. Grave robbers.
Robbers. Cookie grave robbers.
Yeah. If you don't know what a cookie graveyard is, it's all these people with the best laid intentions to create this cookie take photos of it.
They even decorate it and everything.
Oh, yeah, it looks
great. It just
great.
gets hard.
Yeah, they use it to create the pre-sale photo, right, and sell their stuff.
Yeah.
But then the cookie goes off to the cookie graveyard where it becomes hard as rock.
And it feels weird to give away a Father's Day cookie a month before Father's Day, and that's why people let them get old or whatever.
But talk about a tool to be like, hey guys, I was working on my Father's Day cookies, and I have some examples I don't want to go to waste. Mm-hmm. Who would like to be my taste tester, or who would like to try these out, or who would like to let me know if these taste good, give me feedback. And if they say, oh, this is so great, be like, oh, would you mind leaving me a review?
What I do is I will make a pre-sale photo. So I just did the dad bod one.
Yeah.
I'll make it, photograph it.
What's the pun there?
It says, you say dad bod, I say father figure.
It's hilarious. And it's just dad bod.
So what I'm going to do is they're already in the freezer. So I'm going to bring them out when May turns into June, and that where I can get more eyes on it. And they're as fresh as the day is long because sugar cookies freeze so well. Yeah. So I hate wasting cookies to the cookie graveyard when you can get such marketing out of them, and all that time and energy can be used to make more sales.
Yeah, and if we did a podcast on community groups, I would say listen to that and come up with a strategy to give away this stuff. It's a great marketing tool without, again, like we talked about, adding value back to the group, giving stuff away in the group. And Corey gave this one lady some sourdough starter, and she turned around a couple weeks later and was like, here's all the things I've made. I'd love to give this away. And you may be like, well, she just trained her competition. No, that lady immediately started charging because we all need to start charging.
Out of all the sourdough starter I've given away, she's the only one who's...
Yeah, how many do you think you've given away?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It's so easy to make.
30 units?
Yeah, maybe.
Corey's giving it to her neighbors.
Oh, yeah,
it's hard. It's easy to kill, hard to keep alive.
Yeah, it's a job.
You're like almost a slave to this.
I'm waking up early to feed it.
Is it still alive?
Oh, yeah. My sourdough starter?
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Oh, I'm feeding him every day. He gets a new jar and new feed every day.
A new jar?
Yeah, new jar.
You have to put him in a new jar?
So you don't have to, but you run the risk of growing the bad bacteria or mold spores in there if you continuously use, because sourdough starter is so sticky, as you know from that class, that it sticks to the sides. It's hard to get it down. So if you're always using the same jar and discarding, so you turn and it sticks to the side.
Dead sourdoughs on the side.
Yes, that can cause bacteria and mold.
Sourdough is truly, don't look at how the sausage is made because you'll never have a hot dog again.
I know. No, I just look at it as bubbles.
Did you? What's his name again?
Mine is Joe Biden. That's hilarious. I saw someone named theirs Kristen Bieber.
You do Donald Trump. If you want to be really political. Okay, so moving on to our text. Thank you for the 2 people who texted. And then we had those people who texted what they ate, which was very nice.
I like that. I'm hungry.
Hey, twins, another question from... I'm slaughtering this. Callie? I was going to say Kayla, but it's Callie from Arizona. Sorry, Callie. From Desert Valley Sweets. Question about photos on your website versus posting to social. Would you post pictures up on your website in your gallery that you haven't posted to social media yet? Is that something that you would do simultaneously, like wanting to post it on your website or waiting for social media scene? Or is a website free game and then you just kind of post the content some other time when it suits you best? Thanks again for everything. I really appreciate it. I have a website because of you guys, and it's generating quite a bit of leads, specifically through Google and SEO. So thank you for those tips.
Oh, that's so nice.
Great question. Consider this. People who find you on social media and the people who find you on websites are very different people, coming from very different parts of the funnel. People who liked your page have likely already bought from you or found you in a community group or something like that. And then they're like, oh, there she is again. And look at that cute little thing she's doing for Father's Day. So I do. Those ones are very time intensive. Now, people who come from websites, specifically from SEO queries, are likely about ready to part from their money. So what happens is people often say sugar cookie baker near me, and they're not searching for someone they can follow on social media.
Yeah.
They're looking for somebody they can
to fill an order.
So on your website and your gallery page, I pretty much treat that like a free-for-all. The more content I have there, I would put that in the gallery. Now on your products page, let's say you're doing a Father's Day DIY kit. I would have that product page be 100% that Father's Day DIY kit. I wouldn't implement other DIY kits there. I think it would clog up what the concept of that product is. So multiple product photos of the same product, one showing the pictures of the icing, one showing the kit together, one showing the kit apart, showing the kit decorated, showing the kit with some size comparisons so people aren't shocked. It's a mini. Yes. But on that website gallery, you could either break it up by like theme, I honestly just treat it like a portfolio of sorts. What are you doing now?
Setting up my drama.
So how would you do in the gallery? I would say as soon as you produce a product, put it in the gallery. That's what I treat. You do your gallery. You use Google My Business for your gallery.
I do use Google My Business. It has so many photos. I would say if your website gallery, I've made cookies I've never posted. And that's because I don't want to make them again. So I would say really line up your gallery with the type of sets that you want to do. If you hate doing graduation, I wouldn't post graduation cookies there. If you love doing baby showers, make it a baby shower centric one. If you like technical stuff that takes you 52 hours, post that. I don't. So I like to post the easier sets because that's what I want people to order. That's where my profit is.
Very smart. So I guess the gallery shouldn't be strategy free. It should drive people towards a product you want to sell. I think it is okay to archive some stuff out of a gallery if you're better than that now, or if that's a product you do not want to offer again. Which is so great. Corey and I did that audit in last week's podcast, and then I was able to go back through and tweak a bunch of stuff on our website and kind of really bring it back together. We noticed that there wasn't enough sugar cookies, but it was too many cake pops. And Corey's like, I don't want cake pops, I want sugar cookies. So kind of tweak that around. And I could say do the same thing with your gallery, is go through and says, what is this gallery pushing me towards? Now, as far as like whether you should post one or wait for the other, I would say social media works best when you post it within a couple weeks runtime of the event you're trying to sell. I'm going to say a gallery is a little bit less timed for me, and it's more strategic. Like Corey said, what products do I want to push people towards? What skills do I want to demonstrate? If you're not good at line work, don't post a ton of line work, right? Yeah. If you have a icing bleed PTSD, let's stay away from black and white contrast.
If drop cookies is where you really shine and that's where you can really push out some products, I wouldn't focus on sugar cookies in there.
I know that they photograph better, but again, you're watering that ground, you're going to end up growing it.
Yeah. So the more you show, the more someone is apt to order that. So sometimes when people order from me and they show me things that I've made in the past, I'm like, oh gosh, darn, I'm going to have to remove that.
Yes. Yes. And you would have to technically remove that from social media as well. I know Corey wanted to get a tattoo this week. And I find myself looking through this guy's gallery. And I'm like, that's what, like his social media, his Instagram is all he's got, not my website. And I'm like, we're treating this Instagram profile as his calling card. If he didn't want to do this type of tattoo, he should remove it from this, because I'm using this as to demonstrate, to see what he's capable of.
And that's what a lot of people will send you, what you've already made in the past. So making sure what you've made in the past is something you want to make again.
So if this guy said, I really hate forehead tattoos, then he shouldn't have any of those, even though he did produce them and he made money from them, and it said, look what I'm capable of. If you don't want to keep doing that, you should remove it from there.
I don't like to do school logos. I think I want to poke my eye out with the scribe. So I don't post those. Have I done them? Yes, but it's not something I'm going to post because I don't want those orders.
Right. People are like, but money is money. There's money that's more valuable to you, even though it's the same dwella. The one that doesn't leave you in tears would be the one that you want to go after. And the highest margin product that you want to bake. That's
school
logos
that are so complicated that
Eddie says.
I know, but someone was like, I like when you hand pipe them. I said, well, I can't do the logo.
I like it when I press Control P. People are like, you're using. Message the school if you want to use their logo and not get in trouble. If you want to be ghosted by this social media team. Here's another. I'm going to read this one and another one.
Okay.
Hi, twins. It's Victoria. Long question I had for context. I don't make decorated cookies. I make cakes, breads, cupcakes, etc. Demand is far exceeding my capacity, and I need to make a decision on how to move forward. I could hire an employee to work from my home studio, but I'd want to significantly increase sales volume to compensate for the salary cost, and my home isn't conducive to lots of daily pickups. A storefront would be more accessible, but that means reduced profit margins due to overhead, plus more time, and I have to give more time than I have to give. I have 3 little kids. I'm already at the top of my market and pricing. I just don't know how to move forward. The pressure of a vocal and excited customer base asking for more when I can't do more makes me want to completely stop doing anything at all. It'd just be disappointing people. I'm just disappointing people on a daily basis. What would the twins do? My favorite twin is whichever can solve my problem.
You're at the chicken and the egg.
Yes.
What comes first? The problem with that, you are at a roadblock, and you've answered a bunch of your questions in your question.
Yeah. You had the answer all along. Here's what I'm going to say right off the bat. From what I've seen, and Corey and I haven't opened a brick and mortar for this very reason, is it will eat up all your time. And then it will eat up your soul. And you people who are listening to this and have a brick and mortar, bless your soul, my T's and P's are with you. You're doing it, man.
You're doing it.
But when I see you guys come back and you're like, here's the things I wish I knew before I got into this, it is so difficult. When you don't have, because a lease is an anchor in lease terms, depending on where you live. I mean, upwards of they could be 10 years.
Yes.
That you can't get out of without huge buyouts.
Here's my suggestion.
Okay.
You need to find a commercial kitchen.
Okay.
If you want to hire someone to work out of that commercial kitchen to maybe prep your dough, depending on what you're making, prep your cakes and things like that, each week. A prepper. So you're still doing the decorating, everything, but you're able to use a commercial space. They're not in your home tripping over your kids or anything like that. They're able to work part-time. They're just prepping your doughs on maybe Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're making the stuff, Friday and Saturday pickup. That way you're able to take on more because you're doing less of the prep work.
That's nice.
Also, a VA to take on the back and forth.
So you're saying hire assistants at part-time salary, so that we don't have the huge. I mean, okay, listen, talk to a CPA about this, but there's a difference between a salaried employee and the cost implications there and a 1099 contractor. And it's going to be different per state. It's going to be different per business structure. But a VA, like I pay our VAs like a 1099. So I just pay them and there's no benefits. There's no structure and they just work however they work. That'd be great for that social media, customer intake, customer follow-up.
So we're taking things off of your plate.
And you just become the decorator.
You just become the decorator. You're not the prepper.
Capacity. Okay, now she says she's at the top of her price point, but if people are asking for more,
raise it again.
I think you're going to want to raise your price. Now you may say, but nobody will buy from you. That's the point. You're already at capacity, so we need to throttle that a bit until you can increase capacity.
So if you don't want to disappoint people, but you want to still give them the option to order, let them make the choice themselves. Yeah. But by bringing in someone to prep your dough and prep your cakes and things like that, and bringing in a VA to take the load of the back and forthy off your client, the problem with a lot of bakers is they're like, I don't want anyone to know my recipe. Okay, well then you're answering your question by yourself.
You want to be shackled to your kitchen.
Yeah, I don't want someone to have my Instagram login. All right.
I always tell people, like, when we onboard clients, like, dude, we're going to get in that bed together with your social media logins because we're going to have to share a lot of, there's some ways to protect yourself, but a lot of it's going to be like, hey, please don't screw me over. And I don't want to screw you over. And you can sign contracts or whatever and threaten to sue, but I've never had it happen to me. And if you use a password manager like LastPass, you can share a password without ever having them be able to see it. They just use the same password manager to log in.
So take the next couple months, get comfortable with the idea of sharing some of the workload. Yeah. Can you give your recipe to someone without them freaking out?
Start with a price hike. And in the same time you raise your prices, come in with a product that is a very low cost, low production. So filler cookies, because people are going to say, well, that's a little more expensive.
She doesn't do sugar cookies, so you have to, she's a caker.
So something that's easy to produce. If cupcakes are easy to produce, I'm not sure.
True.
If there's one that's less decorated if you're not making a bouquet out of it.
Okay.
So people are going to be like, well, that's a little higher. Then you can kind of give them the options. You're not breaking their hearts. You're finding an option for them. Because you've raised your prices, you have more margin to work with to hire out people. And the commercial kitchen would allow for kind of more mass production. Now, it doesn't solve my house isn't conducive for pickups, but...
Well, you can pick up outside of the commercial kitchen. That's what a lot of bakers do. It's not pretty, but...
It's not pretty.
It's there.
It's an option.
Yeah.
And then, I don't think that judging by your text that a brick and mortar is the option for you at this time.
Especially we got the 3 small kids. Yeah. Basically, Corey's your favorite because she answered your question.
I kind of feel like I did a nice supporting
No, you hopped on to my answer because it was a good one. Why
the wheel? Your wheel was rolling. Okay, and here's a very nice text note question. It says, hey girls, you both sounded like you need a hug in episode 159. Please don't let the negative Nellies in the group get to you. I would bet 99% of the group is like me, hustling and doing our best to implement all of your awesome tips and practices. Happy summer.
Oh, I'll have to check out what 159 was.
It's such an interesting. If you want to look at, you could type in "there's a podcast."
Did we have a sad podcast?
Excuse my excuses. Oh, that was the one we were very rude about.
Oh,
yeah, we were very. Oh, because everyone was saying that market's over. Shut it up.
Yeah,
kids, turn off the lights. Corey and I talk about that, like managing a group of 46,000 people. And this isn't the only group that we manage. Turns out Corey's little community group is hell on earth. But we always say this. The loud few can't dictate what happens to the quiet many.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cleanup that goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't have to hear about because it's not your problem. But Corey and I would be like, let's make a new rule. I'd be like, no. We can't make a new rule to punish the 99% of people who never broke the rule in the first place. We only have to just quietly get the trash can, throw other people out. So we always say, what is to the benefit of the group if the large majority, Corey and I were saying, people, this is not related to cookies, but for another group, people don't stand up for us. That's so unfair. And I said to Corey, how many group admins have you stood up for? And Corey's like, well, I don't like to get involved in drama.
I don't like to get involved.
So we said the ideal group member for us is the one who often lurks, reads, asks a couple questions, and doesn't get in any fights, whether standing up for their admin team or not. They're just like, hey, I'm too busy working and making money and making my life better. So we're like, okay, we punish the loud few, and the quiet many never should even have to be bothered by it.
Yes. Tell us about the cookie college.
Well, tell us what What, shopping this week or next, depending on when you get the stuff.
The Christmas in July cookie class kits is up next.
Okay, what are our colors?
Our colors are red. I know, you can hate me later. White, I know, hate me later.
You're going to say black?
Green. And warm brown.
Okay.
For the sand.
The sand.
Yeah.
So what is the designs? You remember that?
I have to remember. Santa wearing some sunglasses. Wearing some cool shades. We have a snowman made of sand.
Oh, a Sandman.
Snowman. We have it'll be green and red with a little flower detail surfboard.
Oh, like a little Hawaiian Christmas flower thing?
That Santa would surf on. We have a
coconut. Sanda?
Sanda, no. We have a coconut tree with the lights on it. I can't remember the last one.
It'll be an exciting.
I cannot remember.
So I'll be working. Well, Corey will be working on that, and then she sends me the stuff, and then we create these class kits. Now they get them in the Cookie College, and you get them in the class kits membership.
Yeah,
it's everything you need to teach a cookie class. You just add the dough and order the cutters. We have a deal with Sweet Pink Olive, who helps with the designs, but it is what we reference where we give the DIY kit and we include the PowerPoint. This is that. Mm-hmm. So you could include the PowerPoint. If you're in the Cookie College, you get that class playlist Corey talked about, which is made by first name Julia, last name OMG. And then you could really so our goal at the Cookie College at $76, some of you guys are grandfathered 68, but is to cover our costs and then $1.
Yeah.
So if we can earn you $77, if that's through one class kit or 3 DIY kits or dad bots, that would make you guys keep coming back.
Mr. Sandman.
Remember when you volunteered to sing in church a lot?
I know. What was
Corey,
I thinking?
I know we talked about this.
I have to think.
The thought
Heather,
stalks me.
really good at playing the piano.
Kind of okay.
Pretty good. Heather, I don't know what I was smoking back in high school. I literally thought I could sing.
I hate it. I have performance anxiety, I guess.
Yeah.
I hate getting in front of people and doing anything.
You would have thought I suffered from that.
Corey would volunteer, not just her own voice,
I
but
want to say maybe 3 or 4 times I've ever volunteered.
I was floored each of those times. I was gradually increasingly floored when you would raise your hand.
We had to go to Sunday school, and there was a teen group that you could volunteer. One morning, I don't know.
For your boyfriend?
Yeah, I sang for my boyfriend. But practicing. Practicing on a Saturday night when you have talked all day and your voice is warmed up is different than a Sunday morning. The song was so high, when you where there's no sound coming out, but you think you're hitting that. I even sat down and asked one of our friends, Brittany. I said, "How did that go?" And she's like, "It wasn't that great."
Fever never lied. That's for sure.
I don't know what I was on, but I thought it was a singer. Mr. Sandman.
Yeah, and then I see it come out in the podcast a little when you start
bellowing. I know.
In the car. Sing at home?
Oh, yeah.
You sing in the car?
I sing to my dog all the time.
You sing his name to him. That's what Corey's getting the tattoo of.
Lindo.
What do you call him? Hooble wooble?
Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel, yeah.
This is great. Pumpernickel.
What do you call your husband?
Nate.
Pumpernickel?
Sometimes I call him Dad because he's a father figure. Dad bod.
So that is the Cookie College. That class kit will come out in the first week of the month, which I can't believe we're saying the word June.
It's definitely going to come out towards the latter of the first week.
The people need their eyeballs. If you want to check that out, you can go to thecookie.college.com. You can check out the 5 memberships we have. One includes the digital downloads and the $2 transfer club, the Baker's Business Basics Bureau by Barney. Beautiful. And then we have the class kits, which is just those class kits, but you get all those class kits from this year, which this will be the 7th, and you'll get all the Cookie College from last year if you sign up for the Cookie College, which is our highest level membership. Popcorn price for your satisfaction to get you the most for the least.
Most for the least. I did want to comment on we're going to our sponsors. Oh. I was shopping Bake to Bake this past weekend. Well, I don't know if it's still going, so don't even say. She did run a sale this past week. I don't know if it's still going. But on her website, she has added samples, 50 grams, and that's $5. Sample 10-pack, $45.
That is genius.
Yeah, so you can get a 1 pound, 5 pound sample and sample 10-pack.
I wonder if that's her lost leader.
It could Could be our lost leader.
Bakety bake. Did you know we were going to do this podcast today? Anyways, if you're thinking about switching, are you tapping?
No. Meringue powder. This is mine. You can do anything. If you're thinking about switching meringue powder, no, this is fine. If you're thinking about switching meringue powders, you can now get these little sample packets, test it out, see if you like it. I will say it's not a one and done to switch. You have to incorporate something new into your recipe. So if you're like, I'm just gonna, swap it out, I would test it out before you roll with it. But I have been using Royal Batch for, I want to see, 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah.
Absolutely adore it. It is my favorite. It tastes delicious. It has vanilla extract already in it, corn syrup to give it a soft bite, and white food coloring, so you don't need to add that to it if you don't want to. And it's delicious. You can use code TWINS to save even more. 10% off your order.
What?
You can go to bakedybake.com, or I think royalbatch.com now, right?
Really?
Royal Batch? Didn't she?
I didn't. Why do you think that?
I don't know. I thought you said it one time.
Smart. No, there's actually a company called Royal Batch.
No way.
And it's still something that had to be over 21 to see.
You can go to Bakety Bake or bakedybakeidaho.com.
It is tequila.
Tequila. What? Oh, tequila. All right.
Corey, I had to go to we have there's no liquor stores in Virginia. It's owned by the Alcohol and Beverage Commission, which is government.
ABC stores, what they're
Nothing
called.
is more depressing than an ABC store.
One, it's very sterile.
It's very organized. It is exceptionally sterile. They don't sell anything but alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't think they're legally allowed to sell a Diet Coke.
Right.
You can't get a Diet Coke there.
But if you don't know where things are located, you feel like a total noob.
There has to be a structure that we don't see there. Everything's well labeled. Everything's well organized. It's the opposite of the DMV. It is an alcoholic DMV of sorts.
Yeah.
Less plexiglass, more organization, no lines.
No one's talking. It's not joyous in there at all. There's no music.
I want to say that the lighting, the government has said, can we get the most unflattering lighting known to man and put it in every ABC store?
But I'm making my own vanilla.
So Corey needed to go in. And she's like, I need the most alcoholic of the alcohols. Yes. And I was like, I'm not going to know where that is. So we had to go to the front and say, hello, we're two little girls. How do we find Everclear, please?
She knew exactly where it was.
It's like right there to the left. I thought, I'm as blind as a bat.
Would never have found that on my own.
Very organized, very depressing.
Yes. Always helpful, though. People always
helpful. Always helpful. Anyways, last but never least, we have Eddie, the best boyfriend ever. That is their tagline. It's hilarious. Primera is a company that I think makes labels, but then they were like, labels and printers, and they're like, hey, we've printed on paper, we've maxed out on sticky paper, let's go to cookies. And they're actually, and this is my rumor mill, but I saw them say it, so I can say it, they're working on a Freddy. So we have Eddie. Freddy is supposed to flood a cookie. I can't wait to see what this possibly looks like.
Take the effort, take the hard work.
Eddie is streamlined. And people are like, they're removing the art out of it. Yeah, and they're placing it with money and margin and profit. So if you don't even like flooding cookies, Freddie, imagine, could flood it and Eddie could print on it. It'd be amazing. It'd be a great... Corey and I were talking, her local community group has a complicated circle-shaped logo with text on it, so it makes it exceptionally hard to pipe, even with a projector. So she printed the logo on a circle cookie as a circle shape, and then piped in this heart that's in the middle. And it really, the combination of the two just made it all pop.
Yeah, and I will say, end of school is happening here on June 7th. So I'm doing
I asked in the group, and everyone's like, my kids are, not only is school ended, they're starting the next semester tomorrow.
Well, here it's not over yet, so I'm making a lot of end of school cookies. So I did a teacher's desk. So I used the wood grain with Eddie and was able to pipe the apple on top. So it actually looks really, really good.
When you combine, and everyone get off your ever-loving high horses, when you're like, Eddie ruins it. No. Eddie combined with piping creates the ultimate cookie eating experience because you get all these techniques in there that you'd otherwise have to use an airbrush for, which gets a little messy. You can see the overspray when you use an airbrush. Eddie just is the airbrush minus the overspray minus the curse
all
words.
the cool designs, no stencils.
No stencils, right. So if you want to check out Eddie, go to Eddie Printers User Group on Facebook. You can also go to Primera's website and check them out there. They've incorporated the ability to use Amazon's kind of financing partner. So if Eddie is out of your reach, it's not cheap. It's $3,000. You could essentially finance them. Again, people are like, but I didn't like the interest rate. And they didn't want you to pay in payments. They wanted you to pay it up front. So we all give to get a little bit. But if you're like, I think I can get Eddie to pay for himself now with this payment plan, you could actually get Eddie to pay for himself monthly. The faster you pay him off, less interest you pay.
Less interest you pay.
More interest in Eddie, less interest you pay.
I've really been trying to incorporate some Eddie in each order.
It looks great. To me, when I'm like, wow, that was slick what they did there. They used an Eddie, they piped that, they did that.
Yes.
It's like really slick. And the Eddie Printers Users group on Facebook's a great way to see how people are really pushing the machine.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they have a really active Instagram and like to showcase what other bakers are doing. So it's
Is it a Premier Instagram or is it Eddie?
It's Eddie.
Yeah. Very nice.
So they are always posting something.
To see it, Freddie. I think Eddie will be the Cookie Con tickets went on sale last week and completely sold out. If you think, well, I missed out, don't.
Yeah, people have life happen to them, so you'll see tickets come up for sale.
When is life not happening?
Amen. So that will happen in Texas, which leads us. We are hosting a happy hour in conjunction with Heather Campbell Brookshire. What is her destinations business called?
She is, let me open it up. I changed the link in the event, Heather Campbell Brookshire. And she is Reach for the Magic Destination. So she is a sponsor. Her and Kim are going in together on sponsoring this happy hour. It is the day that CookieCon starts. It is September 17th. The times listed are Central. Never mind that. I was telling people Eastern. Because Texas is Central.
It's part Eastern, part Central, I think.
No, I think it's mostly Central, a little Pacific or Mountain.
Oh, I know it's so vast. It's got a lot in there.
Yeah, so that's September 17, 2024. It'll be at the hotel where they are hosting this, which is the Kalahari in Round Rock, Texas. Come as you are and bring your trades if you want to. If not, just come and get some snackies and some drinkies. Apparently, some bakery bake. Some royal bud. See some royal bud. But yeah, that'll be a fun little thing. And that'll be coming up. There's plenty of time. If you did not get a CookieCon ticket, I don't want to see your body near that happy hour. Just kidding. You absolutely can come and just do the happy hour. I know people are like, well, I'm not going to CookieCon, but I live in the area. Get your buns. Get your bread buns, your sourdough buns over to that happy hour. Have fun.
And we'd love to have you if you want to connect with people, if you want to meet people in person.
I think it makes the entire event more fun.
Yeah.
If you have a buddy.
If you have a bud.
A handful of buds. Also on July 19th, we have Add Some Pop to Your Party with Cake Pops with Bonnie Bradley. She is teaching that. She saw another live time. She's like, well, I could do one on cake pops. I'd love to tell people how to make cake pops, which we just talked about.
She actually posted her recipe in that event already.
I printed it at the bottom.
I made the recipe yesterday. Delish.
All you need is Duncan Hines, French vanilla, eggs, water, sour cream. That's it.
No oil.
Wow, that's great. So that'll be coming up on July 19th, which is a Friday, and she'll do it at 10 a.m., but I'll post reminders about that coming up. Moving on. Do you have a Twinterest? You have not checked the mail, I can tell. But
I have not checked the mail. I did order these books. Specifically.
Cool. This is a good one. So Father's Day is coming up, and Corey's been on TikTok.
I have.
TikTok is probably the ultimate spy app, but darn it if it's so fun to watch.
But you know how you want your kids to ask you questions about your life? And
the kid hasn't looked up from his Game Boy
no,
since
absolutely not. My son is not going to care about my life or his growing up time until he's way older. Yeah. Odds are I will have forgotten these years.
Yeah.
So what this book does, it says, tell me your life story, Mom. They have one for Dad. They have one for Grandpa and for Grandma.
So Corey's filling it out.
Yeah.
For Archer to read when he looks up from his Game Boy and he's 25.
Yeah.
And that will be a fun little history thing. So when do you give it to him on Mother's Day?
Well, you're supposed to fill it out and just give it to him one day. I don't know.
I think this was actually intended for the kid to give it to the parent fill it out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. But my kid's not going to ask that or give it to me.
Corey's like, I'll make you ask me.
Yeah, but it was like, so I was going through it. My husband
give us an example of the question.
How much
was it?
I would say $5, but I bought it on TikTok for $5, but on Amazon it's $11.
What's it called on Amazon?
It's called Tell Me Your Story, Mom.
Tell Me Your Story, Mom, Amazon. Tell Me Your Story, Mom. Let's see. It has hardcover and soft cover.
I got soft.
Oh, yeah. So 11 for the paperback. Tell Me Your Life Story, Grandma, Mom, I Want to. There's a bunch of versions of it.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So then the questions are like, tell me, right now I'm at the beginning, so it's my life story. Where were you born? How much was the price of milk today?
That's an interesting kind of set the stage of these stories.
So it was like, did anything interesting happen on the day you were born? And I had to be like, I will have to ask my mom. I don't really know anything about that day.
What a great conversation starter.
Yeah. So then I went and like kind of perused the book, and it was like, how did you and Dad meet?
That's fun.
Online. Or staying online. Just kidding. And then it goes on to, what's your favorite thing about your partner? What's something you could change about your partner? So you're kind of telling him, like, here's something I wish I knew back when I was dating.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, so I ordered one for my grandparents of my son, to fill out.
So dad and mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
To fill out and give.
But I mean, Corey's husband, Nate, not the husband with the child, the second husband. Gotta catch them all. He was super stoked about answering.
And then he was having me ask him the questions, and he would not fill it out.
Oh, really?
He would not.
So
but he loved answering the questions. I was like, oh, it says one of the questions is like, do you like your name? Corey or Nathan. So I was like, oh yeah, Nate, do you like your name? He's like, no, I don't think I look like Nathan. And then it was like,
so moody.
If you could choose your own name, what would you choose? It was like questions I've never even thought about answering.
What did he say?
He wanted to do Voldemort, and I said, "That's
you lost your privilege."
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. My twin choice is I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and
Dollywood,
and I was driving up there, and I said, "What is this place?" And they were like, "It is a tourist trap by definition." Mm-hmm. But it was very mountainy, like mountains. You were like, "Oh, I didn't know."
My husband grew up in Big Stone Gap.
How far away were we?
Big Stone Gap. I know their vacations were always at Dollywood, so it must have been pretty close.
Big Stone Gap, VA, population 2. Is anyone listening to this podcast?
From Big Stone. Gap.
So I'm going to do Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Let's see how far away I was from. It was 3 hours away.
Oh, wow.
I guess, yeah, Big Stone Gap is in the Appalachia.
It's Appalachia.
Yeah, I could see him taking, I was very close to Knoxville.
There's a lot of things in Big Stone called hollers.
I felt like I was near a holler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I drove down there. It's the whole drive is 90% in Virginia. And then at the very end, it's like, move your Tennessee.
Yeah, Virginia's long. You must have been going down the whole little stretch up the side of Virginia.
I did. I think I ran the ridge of Virginia. Me and every Virginia State Police trooper in the world were on the same road. But I went there. It was very touristy, but a lot of people watching, and they had like what I would describe as a baby Disney Springs. I did the Ferris wheel.
Oh,
yeah, and then a ton of restaurants, a ton of places to hike. And I want to say, by definition, this place is like gravity-fed roller coasters. Yes, we'll take 50. Everywhere there was a gravity-fed roller coaster, and like they use ski lifts to take you to the top of the gravity-fed roller coaster.
Crazy,
yeah, mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was very mountainy,
Appalachia,
very rainy at random times. Like extremely severe thunderstorm.
What's so funny is my mother-in-law will call sometimes. It'll be raining over there because the clouds hold the little moisture in there.
I feel like they were like, we'll take some of that rain as along with our gravity-fed roller coasters. It was very interesting. I did not get to go to Dolly World, but it was the Flower Festival.
It sounds pretty.
It sounded pretty, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very clean.
That's nice.
I felt everything was very clean.
For sure.
But tons and tons and tons of dinner movie theaters.
Really?
So many, like the Hatfield and the McCoys. That was the biggest one, and then a Titanic, then an upside down. You know, like when we went to Disney, there's a building that was flipped upside down. They had that building there.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they had so many. They had a Bible dinner movie.
Wow.
They could turn it into dinner and a movie. They had like, you know, the one that's in Maryland that we go to, and you eat the chicken leg.
Yeah.
Medieval times. They had a version of a medieval. There were so many dinner movies.
So it's not a movie watching. No, it's an acting.
Yeah, and some of them were small where I could tell you were going to be a part of it.
I know I have been. Yeah.
And they made us in the dinner.
Yes.
Movie, the dinner show, whatever.
Yep.
And there was a ton, and like, you know, theme parks and stuff like that. But by definition, gravity-fed roller coasters. That was what they wanted, and that is what they had. Okay, well, that is it. We'll see you guys next week in June.
Did we cover all our bases?
Did we?
Did we?
How many?
That was all our bases. Bases covered.